Hi all, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about trying new makeup, talking about new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you'll consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. Today guys, I'm starting this video. I'm doing my intro with my makeup on. I wanted you to see the finished product, and yeah, so let's get into me trying all these products on my face and showing you what I got in my Sephora haul. And then also just talking to you about, you know, if you've read my community tab, my cat friend passed away maybe a week ago. So I took some time off from filming. So I'm just going to talk to you guys about what was going on with that and how I'm doing while we put makeup on my face. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's get into it. My skin is, when I'm stressed, it often isn't emotional. Like, I'm not an emotional person. It will show itself on my face. So like these are healing, but well, not little, but this jerk showed up recently, like in the last 24 hours, and it's just like boom there. But yeah, so let's get into it. I wanted to do sort of like a hybrid try on, like get ready with me, show you my haul, because I feel like I'm so behind because I haven't filmed, and I just kind of wanted to get it done, but also, you know, put some makeup on and talk to you guys and chit chat with you about what's been going on in the past 2 weeks. First, I want to thank you guys so much for all of your condolences and well wishes. They were much appreciated. This has been a really stressful and weird time, so thank you very much. So let's start off with me showing you what I got, and then we can sort of decide what I'm gonna put on my face. So first up, the first thing I definitely knew that I wanted to get was the Say Beauty, I think it's called the Glowy Super Skin Foundation. So I got this foundation, and I got it in the shade 19. I think this is a pretty good match for me. I haven't tried it on my face. Well, I take that back. I did put a little bit, like a little swatch here when I first came, and it looked pretty decent. So I have high hopes that this will be a good match. I also got the concealer, which I don't think is a good match. I think it might be a little too dark, but it's kind of got like a bit of a peach or like orangey undertone, which might be good as like color corrector. So I might use this like under my eyes and then go over it with a different concealer. I then also got the, where did I put it? Here it is. The Tower 28. Basically, I got everything that was on my list minus the Kosas baked bronzer, which I might eventually pick up, but I also picked up 2 other things that weren't on my wish list. So I'll show those to you as well. But I got the Sculptino, which I've actually been using this because this haul came right as Finn was getting really ill, and we were sort of making decisions about what to do. And so my haul sat in a box for like 4 or 5 days, guys. And then I finally had time to open it up and go through it. And so that was a little while ago. And when I've been going to work, I've been like, well, I have all this new stuff, I might as well try it out. And I think that'll be good because this won't just be like a first impressions for a lot of this. A lot of this I've tried and I've used multiple times, and I can kind of give you my opinion on. So this I have been using. I was worried that this was going to be too light for me, and it is to a certain extent, but it also works as a really like subtle contour, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a contour or bronzer, but I think for me this is more of a contour. And I'll show you guys how it looks on my skin. And then I got the Rare Beauty soft pinch blush is what it's called, and Virtue. I have not tried this. I haven't tried the blushes that I've gotten. I got the Kufi Mindy Moment in Sandalwood Swirls. I got the Haus Labs Color Fused Blush in Acai Sky, which I kind of, let me show you guys how bright and pretty that is. Alright, and then I did get the Tower 28 mascara. I'm not using this mascara right now. I'm using another mascara because I am testing out products for a upcoming brand review that I'm going to be doing. So one of those things is a mascara. So I've been wearing that. And actually, just to spoiler, I've been really enjoying this mascara that I'm using right now. I also wound up picking up the Glowish concealer, which wasn't originally on my list either, but this, if you like a really serum-y concealer, low to medium coverage, like it doesn't, I don't feel like this has a lot of coverage, but I love the feel of it on my skin and under the eyes. It just looks beautiful. I probably will see if I can pair these two together just so you guys can see what I mean. And then I got two other concealers. I'm planning a video, so I am all about the concealers right now. I'm planning a couple of videos, so I'm very heavy on specific products because I am going to be doing like a big concealer review video, and I'm going to be doing a big, you know, like foundation video. So I'm kind of like, and blush as well. So I'm kind of just like amassing things so I can really sit down and talk to you guys about them. So I wound up picking up the Valentino concealer, and I haven't tried this yet, but the color looks pretty decent. And then I thought I was done, and then Kaki was going on about the Givenchy Prism Libre, and I was like, all right, well, I was gonna place the order for the Valentino one, so I threw this one in as well. And I want to try. I've only swatched these on my hands, but I'm very intrigued by both. So maybe I'll use one of these. I don't know. I'm very like, intriguing. And then is that everything? I think that might be, oh yes, that is everything. Okay. So I did get some like basics. So like I re-upped on my cleansing balm. I used the Sephora collection cleansing balm. It's affordable. It's a nice amount of product. It gets the job done. It's a very utilitarian product. Like, I also got the Sephora collection eye makeup remover. I usually use the Lancome by Facile, but I just haven't been able to bring myself to spend the money on that lately. So I was like, you know what? Let's try the Sephora one out. It's kind of still that biphase formulation. So I'm like, let's try it out. And then I got some cotton squares so that I can remove my eye makeup at night. And that's it. I feel like I didn't get a lot, but my total said different. So yeah, let's get the face started. So I'm gonna put on, I did my skincare already not that long ago, but I think I'm going to, do I want to put anything else on? I have moisturizer on. I haven't been out yet, so I don't have any like sunscreen on. You know what? Let's just leave it, because what I was going to put under might make, this isn't supposed to be very dewy, and what I was going to put under my skin, which is the rest of my Rose Essence from Pat McGrath, might make it too dewy. So let's just go with, although, you know what, I changed my mind. Okay, so I've put the primer on, this little, it's not really a primer, it's an essence. I'm going to do my brows off camera. I don't have any new brow products, but I can't do my brows and talk at the same time. So I'm going to do those off camera. If you want to know what I'm using, I'll show you really quickly. It's what has been my go-to as of late. So my go-to has been my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in Dark Brunette. I then go in with my NYX Professional Brow Glue in Dark Brown. And then I just, you know, sort of like top it off with a little bit of this brow tint pen, the Lift and Snatch from NYX. So I'm gonna go do my brows and then I'll be right back. All right guys, brows are done. I mean, as done as they're gonna get. But let's move on to skin. I'm gonna go in with the foundation. Do I have a brush with me? Yes, I do. I think I'm gonna use this brush. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use this brush here. I filmed a huge like brush guide video and hadn't had a chance to edit it, so I filmed that like 2 weeks ago. I'm hoping that will go. That will probably, my goal is to get that up at least, you know, within the next week or so. But yeah, so I'm gonna just give you guys some a rundown of what's been going on. So basically, and if you don't know, if you weren't on my community tab, my cat Finn got really sick and we had to put him to sleep. It's been about a week since we did that. That's a decent, let me zoom you guys in. There we go. So basically, just to give you guys backstory. So Finn is, or was, one of two. So when I adopted him and his brother. Like actual brother. They were basically like twins, and if I can remember, I will put a picture up of both of them because people were like, oh my god, they were twin cats. So I adopted both of them when they were kittens, and his brother Declan passed away in 20. Let me use the viewfinder here just to do my forehead. 2018, from an unexpected illness. Literally, like, we took him in for what we thought was a cold. It was not a cold, and they were like, yeah, he's probably gonna die. You can try to save him, but he would probably die anyway, and then he'd be in a lot of pain, and he'd be, you know. So we just made the decision then and there to, you know, not let him suffer, which was very traumatic. So that happened, and then a week after that, one of my family members got really, really sick. So it was like a week of cat loss, family serious illness, and I just didn't get a chance to really even like mourn for Declan. You know, he was 8 when he passed away. I just feel like this is actually laying so nicely. Okay, say. And this is a good match too. I feel like this is a decent match for me. So the main thing that I was worried about was, like, you know, my sick family member, but also Finn, who was very attached to his brother and, you know, was now like an only child. So cut to like pandemic times, and Finn was starting to have some health issues of his own. Took him to the vet. He got diagnosed with IBD. Now, we kind of suspected he'd had it. He had gastrointestinal issues his whole life. He had a very sensitive tummy. He loved food, but and as you can see, like, the coverage is pretty light because it hasn't covered up this zit, which, whatever, you know, it's there and it's very red and not a whole lot will cover it up. I could use a color corrector, but I don't know if you guys know, but I did buy the e.l.f. color correctors. I put them in my April capsule, which was a complete-ish show because I was all over the place. It was just a lot going on. So that capsule was kind of a bust. But I did try the color correctors, and I'm not a fan. I don't feel like they gave me enough coverage. So that's why I'm not going in with that, because I don't really feel like it would do much. But so he was diagnosed with IBD, which we kind of suspected anyway. And do you see what I mean? I mean, it's not a bad, well, I guess it's not a bad match, but I just feel like it's a little dark. I don't really go for brightening concealers, but I do like them to have, like, not be too deep on my eye. But okay, well, you know what? I'm actually not mad at that. And he was put on medication. He was put on a multi-capsule steroid. And then in 2021, he was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, which is very common in orange tabbies, by the way. My first cat, Patches, his name is Patches. I had him for 15 years, but he had hyperthyroidism most of his life as well. So I actually wasn't shocked by that diagnosis. I was like, of course, because that is actually quite manageable. They take a pill, or they take they have a liquid form. Finn was on the pill, and that's basically how it's managed. So kind of similar to the IBD. The problem with IBD is, it's oftentimes with cats, they can't have certain forms of they can't have the most common forms of protein that are used in cat food. And the most common forms of protein that are used in cat food are also not really what cats should be eating, to be quite honest. Like, cats shouldn't really be eating fish. They really shouldn't be eating, certain things. And that's one of the reasons, the things that they think is contributing to so many cats getting irritable bowel disorder or syndrome, because they're two different ones. He had disorder. So that actually gave a little bit of coverage, not a ton, but a little. That's actually quite nice. I'm using a dry sponge because I've been finding that I'm enjoying applying my concealer with a dry sponge. This is the little Eco Tools one. Very pretty. So where was I? We had to basically find a protein that he could eat. And they first put him on hyperallergenic food, like hydrolyzed dry food, which he was fine on for a while. And then his his body just started to like not like it. He started, you know, vomiting it up, not wanting to eat it because it was hurting his stomach. I'm going in with the Scotino, and I have the shade Getty. And you'll see how, I mean, it's very light, but I feel like that kind of works to my advantage because it kind of just works as like a light contouring almost. And I hope you guys can't hear my tummy. It's super early and I haven't eaten yet. I did bring over, I have drank Coca-Cola cherry vanilla because this is where I'm at in life. I'm drinking cherry vanilla Cokes at 8:30 in the morning. That's where I'm at emotionally, just so you know. But so we were sort of like going down the list of things that he could eat, and he was eating certain things and enjoying them, and then his body would like reject them, and then so finally we landed on rabbit, and that's what he ate. He ate rabbit for the bulk of the last like year of his life. He would eat rabbit, but he was still steadily losing weight. They adjusted his doctor adjusted his medication, and he would gain a little weight back, but then he would lose it. And then in November, he actually had an episode where he just was so sick and he couldn't move. And we had put him on B12 shots, and I had asked his vet, like, maybe I should keep him on the B12 shots because he's basically on a regimen of B12 shots where you take it for 6 weeks. So once a week for 6 weeks, and then you're on it for once a month. And it's supposed to help them absorb the nutrients from their food, because a lot of times with IBD, kitties and people, it's hard for their bodies to absorb the nutrients. So B12 helps their bodies absorb the nutrients, and we were hoping that that would help him absorb more, and then he would gain weight, and it did work. But then the vet was like, no, he should go down to once a month. I was like, I don't think he should. She was like, yeah, he should. And I was like, okay, you're the doctor. We took him down to once a month. He started losing weight again. You see, I think I'm going to try this Valentino concealer. I noticed that it had a lot of coverage, and I just want to see if I can build up a little coverage on this Zitty Zit here. I feel like this is a good test to see if it'll do it. I'm going to use my finger. This one's a little bit brighter than the other one, but I'm just curious. I mean, not really. In fact, I feel like it kind of lifted some up. Probably not my best move, but I was curious. Oh well. So yeah, she was like, no, he shouldn't. And then he started losing weight. And then I was like, well, I think I should take him back up. She's like, well, let's do every 2 weeks. I was like, okay, let's do every 2 weeks. So we just started doing every 2 weeks, and that helped a bit. And then I want to say maybe a month ago, he started exhibiting like weird symptoms of things. Like he was having a hard time jumping, which, keep in mind, Finn was 12. So him not being able to jump wasn't that shocking. A lot of cats, when they're at that age, you know, arthritis kicks in, their joints, you know, they have they have more issues with jumping. So I wasn't like concerned in the sense of like, oh, what's wrong? You know, what's wrong? I actually really like this. It's very subtle, but it's kind of what I'm going for right now. I think I'm going to put a little bit on my forehead, even though I'm wearing my head wrap. And I'm wearing my head wrap, guys, because I have to do my hair. If you see me wearing a head wrap, sometimes it's for style, but a lot of the times it's just because she hasn't had time to do her hair. It's not like anything other than that, guys. And sometimes it's just like, you know, girl has to do what she has to do. Didn't give a lot, but that's all right. So yeah. So that was happening, and then I just noticed that he wasn't like himself. He was very low energy, and he's older, so I wasn't expecting him to be like jumping around all the time. But I know my cat, and I knew he wasn't feeling well. Let's do the sandalwood swirls. I swatched this Kufi one. It is very, I feel like it's thick. She's thick. So I just knew something was, yeah, it's very moussey. See that? I picked up a lot. It's very, I swatched it on my hand. It is very pigmented. So I'm just going in lightly with my, like, blended it out on my, that's so pretty. I just knew something was wrong. But I didn't, you know, he was also having a lot of incontinence. And that's where things kind of, things are going to get a little graphic here. But yeah, he was having a lot of incontinence, bowel incontinence. So that was fun to be dealing with and cleaning up. So I emailed his vet and I'm like, hey, what can we do about this? And keep in mind that I had been doing like reading and like trying to figure out like ways to help him that were more like, not, I don't want to say homeopathic because I'm not anti-medicine. I was thankful that the medicine was helping him, but I felt like there was more that we could do with the medication, in conjunction with the medication, that could have helped him. And she was very much against it. And honestly, one of my regrets is not pushing back against that, because I do think there were things that could have been done early on. Maybe not towards the end, but I think there were things that could have been done early on that would have prevented a lot of what then occurred. But basically, she was like, let's get him on this medication that'll help with the incontinence. It did. But after that, it got worse. He got worse. And by, I want to say Sunday, maybe 3 weeks ago, you know when your cat's sick and, you know, they go and hide. And he was hiding. And I was like, he's not feeling well. You know, something's not right. And then he just he stopped walking. He was just like, I can't walk. And then he was not eating. He wasn't drinking water. These are basically all the symptoms of cats who are in the process of passing away. And I was like, okay, well, the medication's not helping, and I'm not going to keep forcing him to take this medication. So I made the decision to take him off all of his meds. I'm like, if you want to just, you know, if you're passing away, I'm not going to do this to you. I'm not going to give you this medication to sort of prolong this situation for my own benefit, you know. I actually really like this. I thought it was going to be more pigmented than it was, because it was very pigmented when I swatched it on my hand, but it's actually quite soft and subtle, which is good. So yeah, I was like, well, I'm not gonna extend his, you know, I'm not gonna extend his suffering in that way. So I was like, you know, and we kind of talked about it. We were like, well, let's just see how he does on his own. And let's, you know, at that point I was like, I feel like the medication was making it worse. I started doing more research on the medication that he was on. And in November, when I took him in, when he wasn't feeling well, I had asked his vet, do you think he has diabetes? Because the medication that he was on, the multi-capsule steroid that he was on, can cause diabetes if it's been, when you have long-term use, which he had been on it for 2 years. So I was like, do you think maybe this medication is causing diabetes? And she was like, she's like, well, we'll do the blood test. It'll tell us if that's what's happening. But he does have a bit of the symptoms of diabetes. So they did the full blood test. I mean, I'm talking about, you know, the really expensive one that, you know, tests everything. And the only thing that they found was that his thyroid levels were a little wonky, and then we needed to get him back on the half tube. Basically, he had one pill that he was taking half of, and he was only taking half. So they were like, let's give him the other half of it every 12 hours and see what that does. And then we'll come back and retest. So his levels were a little high. They got it for his thyroid. They got those down, and they were like, no, he doesn't have diabetes. And I was like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, she's not testing for diabetes. I was like, okay. Brought him home. He was feeling a little bit better, but not great. And that weekend when he got really sick, I just knew he had diabetes. I was like, he's got diabetes, and I think he's becoming ketoacidosis. He's got ketoacidosis. It's just like, you know, you just know. I was like Googling everything, and I'm like, I think he has ketoacidosis. And it was a weekend, so his vet wasn't open, and she was really terrible at answering my emails. So basically we decided, we're like, okay, if he does have ketoacidosis, what they're going to do is just put him on more medication. So at this point, he was already on 3 medications and a B12 shot. And I had taken him back up to once a week, and it had been helping. So I had ignored his doctor with the 2 weeks, and I was doing once a week, and it was actually helping. So he had actually gained some weight back. And then he was starting to lose it again when he got sick. And he was losing it rapidly. Like when Finn was at his healthiest, he was like 10 pounds. And then he lost a little weight. He was like 9.5. And then he lost a lot of weight and he was at 7. And then he was hovering around 6 pounds towards the end. When he was weighed the day that we decided to put him to sleep, he was 4 pounds. So his body was just not absorbing anything. And so we were like, well, I don't want to take him back to the doctor and have them put him on more medication. I don't want that. I'm like, we're going to see if he wants to go on his own. And if he doesn't want to go on his own and it gets worse, we will take him in and we will, we will put him to sleep. So that week he was basically the same. He wasn't worse. He wasn't better, but he was eating. He was trying to walk. He was a little wobbly on his feet, but he could walk a little bit and he would get in and out of his litter. He was a little constipated, but he finally pooped. We were like, yay. So he was just kind of like stable. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, if he stays like this, I'm going to just call his vet and take him in and, well, he didn't stay like that. So early Friday morning, like 3 a.m., he wakes me up because I had him in his I had got him like a little comfy bed. He usually slept with me, but he couldn't jump up in the bed. So I put him in got him like a little comfy bed. And he was laying in his bed. And he had to get up to go to the litter. And I'm a very light sleeper. And with him, because he was sick, I was up like constantly. Like I was getting no sleep. I was getting up like every 5 seconds to check on him. I don't know if I want a powder, guys. I did get the Kosas Mini Cloud and it broke in transit. So I have the broken one, but I don't want to use that on camera because it's messy. I have been using it. I can tell you that I do like it. It's a very good setting powder without being matte. And there's like something in my eye. So anyway, so he gets up to go to the litter and he's having trouble. So I get up too and I'm like, let me just help you. So I help him into the litter and he falls over and starts having a seizure. Scariest moment ever. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a pet have a seizure or what I thought was a seizure. I'm now questioning that and I'll get into that in a little bit, but I pick him up and I carry him back to his bed and he has another one. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, we have to, like, he's suffering. It's getting worse. His vet, by that point, I was just like, I hadn't heard. I called a specialist that had been recommended to me for IBD kitties. I had not heard back from them. They just never returned. To this day, have never returned my phone call. So I don't know what that was about. But yeah, so I was just like, yeah, and that's my Coca-Cola, guys. Because again, I haven't eaten, but I'm starving. But I also just wanted a little sip of it. At that point, I was like, we're cutting it. This is not going to go on. He's not going to be like this. I'm not going to let him suffer. So I made the decision to take him in and I went to work that day. And my mom came over while I was gone and said goodbye to him because she adored Finn and she was obsessed with him. And I basically made an appointment not with his regular vet. I did not want to take him to his regular vet. His regular vet wasn't close. So we took him to the vet down the street from us. And we did it on a Saturday morning. They were lovely and amazing. They took such good care of us and of him. And that's how we decided to do it. So it was the next day. What I will say is I emailed his vet to tell her what was going on. And I still have not heard back from her. I told her he had passed away. Haven't heard back from her. So I have a lot of, not gonna lie, a lot of anger towards his vet because for the longest time I think we're such advocates for ourselves. Well, I try to be an advocate for myself when it comes to my own health care, but with vets, that vet I had been with for years, like they had taken care of all of my cats and they had been bought by a large company, like a large conglomerate, and it's changed considerably and the level of care has changed considerably. And I was not happy with the way that his treatment went at all, like from beginning to end. And I wish I had sort of like done more research at the beginning. I just was listening to what his doctor was telling me and was like, okay, you know, you're the vet, you know what you're talking about. And I'm not saying that she didn't, but I feel like I wish I had sought out a specialist from the jump. I didn't even realize there were specialists for that. Like literally, I found that out and I was like, there's specialists for cats with IBD. Yeah, there's specialists for cats with IBD. But yeah, I just wished I had done more advocating for him because I was not happy with how things went down with his vet, and I'm not happy with that situation at all. But I will say, for his, we wound up not cremating him. I decided not to cremate him. I cremated his brother, but that was really a decision made in the moment, and I don't think I would have made that decision. I would make that decision again. Why? Because they charge you, there's two ways to cremate animals. This is very morbid. You can cremate them in a group cremation, or you can do a personal cremation. And I've always been suspicious of the personal cremation because there have been studies and like exposés showing that a lot of the time, I'm doing my eyeshadow with a palette that I just got that is not part of my Sephora haul. It is part of a different haul that I'm going to film. But it's a fun haul because you'll see. What was I even talking about? Oh, so yeah, there's been these, like, I've always been suspicious of it. And there have been multiple studies that show that a lot of the times, guys, they don't actually cremate the animals on their own. They just group cremate them anyway and charge you for. And I was just like, I'm not going to spend, you know, $500, $400 for something and I don't know what I'm getting back. And I still question, like, is this like when Declan was cremated? I'm like, is this all Declan? So my friend, who is amazing and who has been so supportive and fabulous, she is a cat mama and dog mama and a foster animal mama, cat mama. She offered to help me bury him on her property. So that's what we did. So he is buried, and then I took his brother's ashes, like and buried them next to each other. So they're together. Because my main thing was like, well, I don't want to bury Finn and then have Declan's, like, I just felt like they should be together because they loved each other so much. So they are together now. And my friend was like, I'm going to plant some flowers over their graves. I'm like, thank you. So that was done. So again, I want to thank you guys for all of your condolences and well wishes, but that's the very long saga of what was going down with Finn. Well, the thing is, I'm not a huge crier, generally speaking. I cried when it happened, and then I was like, okay, I had a big cry. I'm not going to cry anymore. And then yesterday I was doing the dishes and I was listening to a podcast and somebody said something and I just like burst into tears. So that's where I'm at. I am I know, you know how if you've ever suffered from like depression or, you know, grief or anything, you kind of know like the physical symptoms of, especially depression. And I've been feeling the things, you know, my skin's breaking out. I haven't been sleeping well. So I know that that's what's happening, and it's just sort of like I have to sort of ride the wave, so to speak. So that's what I'm doing. I'm allowing myself like the grace to do that. And if I need to like just lay in bed for a little bit and not do anything, that's what I'm going to do. So I've applied that. Okay, I'll show you guys what I'm using. I'm using the Lorac Pro Noir palette. I got this recently and I've been enjoying it. Lorac is not like my favorite formula, but I've been really basic lately. I've been so basic, and I wanted something basic. I wanted something basic to use, and so that's why I got this, because I was like, yeah, that's what I need in my life right now. Something basic and basic. I don't need any like anything fancy, anything complicated. I just want something that I can do like simple basic looks with. And so I bought this. Well, I didn't buy this, but I bought this. You'll see. I'll talk about it. I'm talking about I'm going to be filming a couple more videos today, and you'll see that soon. What this is, my little mystery is about. These are actually blending quite nicely. They're not as pigmented as, you know, other palettes, the Rock palettes, but they do blend really nicely. That's something that I will say about them. I kind of want to go cool tone, so I'm thinking I want to use one of these shades. I think this one. What do you guys think? Maybe I was thinking this one, but now I'm thinking that one. What do you think? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab like a neon lime green or yellow and pop that in my inner corner. I'm trying to see which one of these would play off well with that. Just to play off the earrings. I love this tone, especially for like spring and summer. So I'm like, I kind of want to go basic, but with a little something. Why not both? I'm going to go, I'm going to go on with this one and then maybe layer that one on top. Let's do that. I'm going to go on with my finger, I think. Do I want to? Yeah, I'll do my finger, because one thing I have noticed with these is that they're not very, when I try them with a brush, I don't find like I pick up enough product, even with my Refer 21. So as you can see, this is like really soft, so I think topping it with the other one is a good idea. But yeah, so that's where I am at. That's what I've been dealing with. And then on top of that, I just went full time at my office, and it happened the week that I was going full time, and they were so awesome. They gave me Monday off so I could like bury him and everything, because we were going to do it on Saturday, and then it rained and I was feeling terrible anyway. The same Saturday I was going to try to do it all at once, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking with that one. That was just like, who are you? I was thinking I was emotional superwoman. I'm just going in to refine a little bit. It's not adding that much more product, but just getting a little bit of the gaps that my finger couldn't reach. So we did it that Monday because it was, you know, the dirt had basically dried out and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go over with this shade. That's actually pretty. It's giving a little bit more, but not like a ton. But I'm okay with that because I'm not trying to do like a super silvery eye. I just want it to be kind of cool toned, kind of gunmetal-y, like that. That's nice. Okay, let me go. I thought I had grabbed it, but I didn't. Let me go grab the other palette that I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use Cosmic Brushes Serenity, which is from my April makeup capsule, but I've already swapped everything out, so I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. This is the shade that I was planning on using, this one here. I think that'll be perfect. So I'm going to grab a little brush. Let me see, which one do I want to use? Let's use this Refer 26. These are so pigmented, I don't know. See, I'm so used to using the Lorac ones. I'm like digging into this palette, and it's like, you don't have to do that, girl. So I'm going to put this right there. And I am going to do my lower lash line, but I wanted to do this part first because I don't know if I want my eyes to be smoky. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of that shade that I was using from the Lorac palette, the mid-tone brown one. I'll go in with that one, I think, under the lash line, and that's it. I'm not going to put any shimmer underneath either, because I usually do shimmer underneath like my lower lash line because I love the pop of that. But I want the lime to be the star of the show, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go in with this shade here. But yeah, so I've just been spending the week like working, and that's been another adjustment because I'm working like 10-hour days, and it's a lot. And I just haven't, I feel like I actually haven't had a whole lot of time to process anything. I feel like my body's experiencing it, but my brain isn't, you know? But I spent the day yesterday, like, cleaning all his stuff. That cat had a lot of stuff. He was like, my brother used to always joke how he was so spoiled. And he was, because, you know, he and his brother were spoiled. But once his brother passed away, I kind of just like funneled. I was like, you get double the love. So he had a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So I just spent the day like cleaning up his stuff. I think I'm gonna, hold on a second. I'm gonna pull this up just a bit more. Do you see the difference? It's really subtle, but I just wanted to like pull this up a bit. But I'm also looking forward to like, I've had cats my whole life, like practically my whole life. I had my cat Patches for almost 16 years. I had Finn and Declan. I had Finn for almost 13. His birthday would have been in the end of May. So I feel like this is the time where I'm probably not going to adopt any more cats for a little bit. At least I'm going to try not to. There's something in my eye and I feel like it's not makeup. Alright guys, I am back. I just threw on a nondescript lippy because I didn't want the lips to be too like there, you know, so I just kind of threw on something really nude. So yeah, this is the finished look. I haven't powdered. I actually really love how dewy my skin looks, how glowy it looks. The kufi, I'm actually kind of surprised. I was expecting, like I built it up quite a bit, but I was expecting it to be more intense and it's not. Now I do have the, where is it? What did I do with it? Yes, the Rare Beauty, which I know is intense because I've swatched this, and I'm kind of tempted to put a little bit of this over just to see, just a little, because I know y'all, I've seen the videos. I know how intense this can get. That definitely bumped up the blush. That was just 2 dots. I mean, it's still soft, it's still pinky. The tones of these aren't super similar, but they're not that far apart that they, you know, they work well together, they blend well together. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So this is the finished look. Let me zoom you guys out. This is the finished look. This Say foundation I am high-key loving. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. And I'm actually really happy with the, where did I put it? Where did it go just that quick? The Say concealer. I was expecting to dislike it, not just because of the color. When I swatched it on my hand, I felt like it was maybe a little too orange, but it's actually quite nice. I can't wait to try the other concealers that I got because I'm very excited about them. Let me also show you the other thing that I got in my haul, which was I got a little travel size of the Ellis Brooklyn new fragrance Florist. It is very, very pretty. I haven't worn it yet. Oh, it smells so good. If you like white florals, like if you don't like gardenia, gardenia is my favorite flower and I love the smell of gardenias, which you can definitely smell in this. It is a very strong note. But if you don't like white florals, you're probably not gonna like this. But I would say, I would describe this as like a modern white floral. It's very, it's definitely floral. But it has a softness to it that I think kind of blunts that feeling of making it feel like or smell like grandma perfume. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The old grandma heavy floral fragrances. There's something in the notes that kind of blunts that and softens it, and it feels very smooth and soft, but still florally. There's definitely maybe a little bit of citrus in here. I'm thinking maybe some bergamot. Bergamot's one of my favorite notes, but I definitely feel like there's some bergamot in here, just to kind of lift it a little bit and keep it from being too heavy and weighed down by all the white florals. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys this because this was the other item that I did get in my haul. So this is the finished product, guys. Thank you for watching my very long-winded video. This turned into a story time, but I just kind of want to give you guys the lowdown about what was going on, and show you my new products that I'm trying for the first time really on camera, with the exception of a few things. But like a lot of this I just hadn't had a chance to try, so it was a first impression, not first impression, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.